Hi, this is Chris from buildazure.com. Today we're going to take a look at running Windows 3.11 in a Microsoft Azure Virtual Machine. Yes, the legacy Windows 3.1 operating system in the modern Azure cloud. So what we'll need is a virtual machine in Azure, preferably running the latest version of Windows Server. We also need to have remote desktop or RDP access enabled on that VM. Then what we're going to do is install Dosbox, and this is where we're going to run Windows 3.1 inside. You can get this from dosbox.com. Alternatively, you could use a virtualization solution like VirtualBox. This should work just fine, but Dosbox does not require the installation of DOS in order to get started. Then we also do need the Windows 3.11 installation files. These can be easily obtained through a Visual Studio subscription from Microsoft. Now I've logged into the Azure portal for my subscription. We can see I already have a virtual machine created. In this case, I'm using a Windows Server 2016 Data Center virtual machine. And I'm using a standard D4S v3 instance size. Obviously, 4 CPUs and 16 gig of memory is a little bit overbloated for what, say, Windows 3.11 requires, but this will definitely give us a snappy experience within RDP. Now, to connect remotely to a VM in Azure, in case you're not familiar, we can use the IP address here to connect, and to make it easier, Microsoft has this connect button in the portal. It gives us the ability to select an IP of our virtual machine. In this case, we'll use the main public IP address. 3389 is the port number for RDP, and if I click download RDP file, it's going to download a .rdp file that I can go open up in Microsoft Remote Desktop Client and then remote into that VM. So I've already connected to it with Remote Desktop. So switch over to that now. Now that I'm connected to my Windows VM in Azure, I can see a couple things now. I've already have Dosbox installed. And then I also have on my C drive a Dosbox A folder and a Dosbox C folder. And these I'm going to use to mount to the A and C drives respectively on my Dosbox. Now Dosbox A folder, if we go in there, we can see there's a bunch of files. In here I've copied all of the installation files that I've extracted from the download for my Visual Studio subscription for the Windows 3.11 installation. Now I'll get back out here so we can see the names of these folders. I'm going to go ahead and run Dosbox. With Dosbox running here, first we need to mount our C and A drives. So I use the mount command for my A drive and then type in the location for my A drive folder. Now we need to mount the C drive as well. Now that my folders are mounted to the drive letters, I'll go to the C drive and we can see there's no files in there yet. I'll go to the A drive and we can see that I have my installation files accessible. Now I'm going to run setup.exe to go ahead and install Windows 3.11. Now the setup is asking me some questions. I'll just hit enter to continue for now, and then I'll hit enter again for the express setup. Now it's going to copy some files, and this will take a couple minutes. Now the Windows setup is running. It's going to attempt to detect the network card or anything we have installed. In this case, it's just detecting what access to the hardware that Dosbox is receiving from the OS. And now we need to enter in our name, company information, the product number. Now the product number would be the registration code that you got when purchasing Windows. If you have a Visual Studio subscription, you can have access to some numbers here for this product number and registration. I'm just going to enter in 7 ones here. This is kind of a little known, or maybe broadly known, I don't know, hack back in the day that you could get around product activation with certain Microsoft products. So hit continue. Continue again. Now it's going to go ahead and copy the rest of the files and finish the installation. Now it's asking you to install a printer. So we don't have a printer installed. We're just going to go over here to cancel. Now for network settings, I'm just going to go ahead and just click continue and skip this for now. We can see it set stuff up. Now we have Windows installed. We can go through and run a tutorial or skip it. In this case, let's say run tutorial. So welcome to Microsoft Windows. It's going to give us some information about getting going with Windows 3.1. Let's type M for the mouse lessons. Press Enter to continue. It's going to show us how to use the mouse. And we don't actually have mouse input in Dosbox right now. It's something I have to configure that I don't actually have working at the moment. So continue to go through these. Now the mouse pointer is working a little bit here, but not completely. So we're going to hit exit. Now we can see exiting setup. So let's go ahead and say restart computer. So it's going to reboot our Dosbox here. Let's go ahead and run Dosbox again. If we go to the C drive, we see we can't since Windows rebooted or shut down Dosbox when we run it again. So we need to go ahead and mount that drive. So we'll say mount C to C/DOSBox C. Remember, these are folder names that I just chose. You could name your folders whatever. So we'll mount that C drive. If we go there, we can see there's a bunch of files. The Windows folder, AutoExecBat, ConfigSys are in there. If we go to this C drive in our Windows Explorer, we can see in that same folder we have these files there as well. So if we wanted to copy any files to our Windows 3.1.1 instance, we could just copy them into this DOSBox C folder, and they would be accessible by the OS. So now we're going to go ahead and navigate into our Windows folder, and we'll type Win, and that'll run Windows 3.1.1 for us. Now we have Windows 3.1.1 installed and running, so now we could go and use any of the programs in Windows 3.1.1 or install any other legacy applications or software that we might need. And now we can use Windows 3.1.1 and software within the Microsoft Azure cloud remotely over RDP. It's pretty cool legacy software running in the modern cloud. Now, why are we not using Hyper-V? So the latest versions of Windows Server and Hyper-V do not support 16-bit software operating systems. This includes both Gen 1 and Gen 2 versions of Hyper-V. So as a result, there is no native Windows 3.1.1 VM support within Azure. This is why I chose to use Dosbox in this case. If you want more videos like this, please click subscribe or head on over to howto.buildazure.com for more videos and guides similar to this. Thanks for watching.